Hi guys, so I'm back here to show you to decanting the kombucha. So what I've done is, as you would have seen from our little video, I poured out a glass. So I've decanted the rest into two bottles, roughly about the same size. These are passata bottles, or yeah, tomato passata. And as I would have shown you on the day when we did opening the fermented bottle we found in the fridge, you can use those Killiner type jars, or those lidded bottles. Absolutely. And you'll read, probably if you look up online, you'll read lots of places that recommend them. I just found them quite dangerous when we've opened them. And I find with these guys with a screw top, what I can do is easily let it out and close it back up if I see it's going to bubble too much. I just find them easy to control. Plus, see the size of the bottle hole there, that one's, I don't know, it's a wee bit bigger than an inch. That one's about an inch there. For what I'm going to show you now, which is second fermentation, I find it far easier to get the fruit into these, and more importantly to get the fruit out, because I have fought with the other bottles, poking and trying to get stuff out. So just as a slight aside, I found my original ebook that I started my kombucha journey with. This was 67 pages long, and yes, I possibly have read at least 60 of them. So it deals with all different aspects of making kombucha on any problems you may encounter. I can put up the link for it. I don't know if they still do this anymore. I've had this, I think, somewhere in the region about 14 years, but I can certainly put it up and you can look up their site. Yeah, they deal with a lot of stuff, and it was their recipe that I kind of worked from, adapting it to the size bottles that I use. So as I said, I've decanted the two, the large bottle or jar, sorry, into these two bottles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to one, because we happen to have it. So you can use any fruit, because what happens is this fruit has got its own natural occurring sugar. So when you put it in with this, it causes what they say second fermentation, and it causes the slight fizz that some people might have experienced. So you're literally taking, I've just cut this into chunks. Here's some I made earlier. I've literally cut it into chunks, and I'm just going to put it in. You can do it the other way around if you so wish, but it would have been a bit messier, me pouring the tea over the watermelon. So that's one. So what I'm going to do is then put on the lid. So what that creates is it stops it fermenting, but it starts to create a fizz between the natural sugars in this and the already made kombucha. Okay, so you can leave this on your kitchen counter. You can, after a couple of days, you can put it in the fridge, which will kind of slow it down a little bit, but it still, as you saw the one that popped on us, it still will start it to ferment slowly. And then what I find is great, as I said, is you can screw these guys off and then just screw it back on again. So so this was black tea, if you remember. So this is black tea with watermelon. So that's how you flavour it slightly. So into this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just slices of lemon. And I find that rather refreshing. So I don't know if you remember on the first day, as I said, you may have seen kombucha in the shop that might have black tea and lemon or whatever. But because I made this using brown sugar, it's just a personal preference. It's a little shade darker than maybe perhaps what you're used to seeing. So again, I'm just going to put the lid on there. So as I say, like, I could drink that tomorrow, no bother. It'll have a subtle flavour of lemon in it. It won't be overpowering. Maybe perhaps if you made it with a lemon tea and added something else, afterwards, it would be more lemony. I really like it though. It's really, really nice. You could do black tea. Ginger is lovely to add to it. Like, I've added a lot of stuff. I'm going to open a bottle that I have done from last week. I'll do that in the next one, where I open them and you can hear the tis of ones with second fermentation and ones without. Yeah, so I've often added fruit, say that maybe it wouldn't be the freshest. It's not gone off, but it's just maybe not the fresh, slightly maybe soft apple or something like that, kind of coming to the end of, or it should have been eaten already stage. So I would often just peel that right back and pop that into the bottles that I do. I don't always do second fermentation. If I have quite a couple of jars on the go, yeah, I might do one and I'd leave it then for a few days and have it later on. Some I prefer more than others, but there's not, I suppose at this stage probably there's not much really that I haven't tried. Interestingly enough, I was just having a look through this earlier on, and extra uses for kombucha scobies. Here's one. Here's a few for you. Now, I have heard of them. I do have a friend actually who does feed them to her chickens. I haven't tried feeding it to our cat. They might be one to try. You can make kombucha jerky, so you could dry it out. Not sure about that one. A face mask. That kind of, when I was reading that one kind of sort of made me think of, is it Alien? Yeah. A little bit. I haven't tried that one. You can use it either whole or ground up. As a bandage, some people report good things from a SCOBY as a live bandage. But I have actually added to a compost heap, and as I said, I do have a friend who has most definitely given it to her chicken. I never thought of giving it to her cat before. No, I don't think I have. And you can also add it to a smoothie. The SCOBY is the mushroomy looking bit. So so after I decanted these out as well, don't forget I kept the starter tea, a bit of the kombucha that I made, and keep the SCOBY in it, and that goes forward into the next batch. A bit like a lot of fermented things, you keep a bit back to add to the next and fresh batch. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and I will make another video and show you ones that I have kept closed up and one that I've second fermented already. Okay, so ciao for now. Thanks for joining me.